Hello, guys. Welcome to Grow to Glow. I am Dr. Thashna Walsh. This morning, we're going to dive straight into answering a question. The question is, what does it mean to live in the fourth dimension? And yes, I know that a lot of my talks that I do mention rising up out of the third dimension and into the fourth and fifth dimension, where things are easier and we can live life fulfilled, gracefully, and feel free. Now, I suppose how you want to look at that is from the energy of what it means. So, living life in the third dimension is living, if you look around and see people and maybe even yourself feeling that stress, heaviness, worry, having to push and fight for what you want. So if you wanna earn extra money, you have to probably work extra hours or get a better job. And sometimes instead of letting that kind of flow and come to you easily, like someone offering your job or something, just an opportunity just presents itself easy and relaxed. You are writing out applications, you are pushing and prodding people, reminding them, and going to 20 different interviews or constantly, but bugging your boss for a raise, and it feels almost like stressful. You don't want to do it, but you have to do it. Yeah, it just feels heavy. So if you're feeling that, and if you look around at the world with the wars going on, people pushing and fighting against each other, the way people are talking, just from their vocabulary, everything is hard, everything's a struggle, everything's expensive, life is getting worse, things are getting worse. That kind of 3D, three-dimensional physical world where people's minds, just what they see is what they believe, as opposed to believing in something so that you can then create it and coming into the fourth dimension. So the fourth dimension is seeing what's happening around you. You might not like it, but you're not paying attention to it. Because when you pay attention, whatever you pay attention to, you bring energy to, which means you're creating more of it. In the fourth dimension, you see it, but yes, you're living in reality because you know that it's there. However, you're not sitting there worried about it, stressed about it, trying to fight it. What you're doing is using the capacity of your mind, which is the hardest work you'll ever have to do, which is why it is taught to people. But we'll talk more about it in a minute. Is using capacity of your mind to turn around the things that you are seeing and experiencing right now and putting a different spin on it right now. So people call it fake it till you make it, but it's not fake it till you make it. It's deeper than that. It's more than that. It's living in a different frequency of energy. It's creating a different life for yourself. So it's, for example, so you want this job, or you want more money. So instead of pushing and grinding and hustling to get more money, you go inside your mind, you quiet your space, you reconnect with the source of infinite abundance. You connect with that. And once you've connected with that, then you present your desire to that source. And then you relax and you let it go and you trust. You have a knowing, there's a knowing inside you that everything's going to work out. And when you really sit with that and you visualize the outcome that you want, you see the outcome in your mind, and you're not attached to it, you're just seeing it, and you're being grateful as it's happening right there in your mind, because your mind doesn't know the difference between what it sees in your imagination or something it sees or something that's happening for real. So you can imagine as much as you want, as big as you want. And this is the fourth dimension, because with doing that, you're attracting that thing to you, and you attract the opportunities to bring you that thing. And if you really are doing this well, then you'll also see the evidence of it happening. You'll see, okay, maybe an offer come into your email box or come through your door. Someone calls you up and starts talking about something that's related to the thing that you want. Or a check comes in the mail or somebody offers you something to support the financial difficulty that you're going through, to give you some money, perhaps. But you will find that the evidence will come in. But the key is learning the tools to first ask for what you want, connect. Well, first you connect to the source, then you ask for what you want, and you believe in your heart, knowing, and you're walking in that belief, which means you're embodying the outcome, the very end outcome that you want. Okay, but it takes practice. It takes practice. Some people do it automatically and naturally because they're born into that sort of wealthy consciousness or healthy consciousness or consciousness of grace and ease. And others aren't, and you have to almost reacquire it. It's not that we weren't born with it, it's just that it's been wiped out from limitations and beliefs that our parents and our aunties and our uncles and our guardians have placed on us, and also, the media, schools, and so on have placed on us. But they're not our beliefs. They're just beliefs that have been stuffed inside of our subconscious mind because we didn't have a choice, especially when we were kids. We just absorb everything. We didn't have the capacity to consciously process and analyze what we were being told. So we accept that as truth. And some of us are walking around still, most of us are walking around still in that sort of headspace, believing in all these things that we learned when we were like 3 or 4 years old or even younger. So it's time to change those programs. And living in the fourth dimension, people will tell you that your head's in the clouds and you're not living in reality and all of that. But those people are living in the third dimension, which is why they can't understand. So there are two different frequencies, two different level of vibrations. So one person is vibrating over here, another person is vibrating over there, which is why you find that there's a mismatch and there's a head clash, because they don't believe in what you're doing and you certainly don't believe in what they're doing. So, and that's okay. We don't have to believe. We are all on a journey somewhere. But if you want to move into a realm where things are easier for you and you feel a lighter way of living. So you're still living in the physical world, obviously, and you're still going to bombard and bump up against people that are living in that. You're still going to see it, but your headspace is going to be wired so differently that you see it, but you're not in it, if you know what I mean. In the Bible, it says, "Be in the world, but not of the world." It's the best way I can explain it. So you're walking in the world, but you feel elevated, you feel higher, you feel lighter, you feel more positive, much more positive. You feel everything is working out for you and you have no doubt about it. And everything does work out for you because that is your mindset. That is the consciousness that you've created for yourself. So that is the outcome that you recognize. You see people how things just happen for them all the time. That's because they're probably in this sort of consciousness. They don't worry about life. They know that the source that provides will provide, always provides, and they have no doubt. Now, some people are out there and they do believe in source. They believe in God, they believe in the universe, they believe that and that. But what's the level of your belief? Because you may say, I believe, but then your actions and the way you speak and the way you carry yourself, your behaviors, is saying a totally different thing. So you have to mark yourself by your behaviors. What are you saying? What are you doing? How are you behaving? Is it incongruent with the thing that you say you believe in? And I give an example. Um, a lot of people believe in God. They believe in God. They say God is their provider. God is their everything. However, some of them are the most worried people ever. How can you believe that God will always provide for you and God is always there, but you believe that you should struggle and you should stress and you should worry and you should cry and you should call out to God, please help me? No, God has already given you the power and we need to start walking in that power. And this is what living in the fourth, fifth, and higher dimensions is walking in that power, knowing that you have been given the keys to the kingdom and you just need to take it, own it, and walk in it. Now, if you want to learn more about living in the fourth and the fifth dimension, then please click the link below and get to the website. Have a little read around because obviously I'm not trying to force you into anything. I want you to develop your own curiosity so that we can then have a conversation to see where it is that you want to go, to get some help, to relieve yourself from the stress, the struggle, the overwhelm, the heaviness. I call it the heaviness because that's what it reminds me of. I just feel you just feel heavy. I remember back before I discovered all of this way of living. It's just I get up every morning with an undercurrent, just always have this undercurrent of anxiety going on inside of my chest and inside my gut. I didn't trust people. I didn't trust anything. I was always second guessing myself. I was always worried about money was one of my big things. And also my relationships were just, well, non-existent. I was searching for my soulmate. I was really, really wanting someone to love and to be loved by. However, that no matter who it is that I found, I it wasn't the right thing for me because I was not vibrating at the right frequency for the person that I wanted to attract because I didn't know myself. I had no idea who I was. So I was just bouncing from one person for a few months and another person maybe for a couple of years and another person for another few years. And it was almost like I got into relationships almost expecting them to fail because that was my track record. So it was the same thing with money. I earned money, but I just didn't have the capacity to keep it. So it just drained away from my bank account. And you want to help, but then you find yourself worried, trying to almost contract, like, if I give this money away, to this person, then I won't have anything for myself. And what if I don't make anymore? And that sort of headspace is heavy. It's heavy. It's constricted. There's no life in it. It kind of sucks the life out of you, and it takes away from you and from everyone around you that you love and care about. So I started learning. I started doing some self work because I realized that the patterns that I had weren't going to weren't going to change anything. So I had to learn to change. I had to learn to change my thinking. And I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of training, a lot of coaching. And I was just determined. Now I've got to a place now where I feel at ease. And in this place of ease, you're totally connected to the source. You know that everything is working out. You feel that peace inside yourself. And you're not worried. Sometimes the old self wants to creep back in there, but you quickly just go, hey, I know who's in charge here. Okay, because you have to rewire that subconscious program. So no matter how much you tell yourself, I believe, I believe, I believe, God is going to help, God is going to God. But if you're doing it from a place of begging and worrying and wondering and not trusting, it's not really going to happen. And if it happens for a moment, it won't happen consistently. And you want it consistently. You want a consistent flow of ease and grace and love and gratitude because you're always in a state of gratitude because you know that what you've asked for is always provided and you're doing it right now in this moment. You're not going, oh, it will be provided because you're always living in the will be. So you're never really in it. So it's learning to live in the present moment in a higher frequency, in a higher state of consciousness. Okay. So that's what it means to live in the fourth dimension. The fifth dimension is slightly different. It's more about your intuition and tapping into what's right, what's wrong, making right decisions because you're really into that connection with you and the source, so that everything the choices that you make always work out for you. So I hope this answers the question. If you want to know more, book a ignition call with me. So the link here is below, and it's going to take you to the page where I talk about the Grow to Glow Ascension Pathway Coaching Program. And that is a 10-week program for teaching you how to get from the third dimension into the fourth and the fifth dimension and live there permanently. Okay, because once you get out of the third dimension and you start living in the fourth dimension, there's no way you're going to want to go back. Okay, because you're now wired to live in a certain way and it's much easier. Why would you want to go back? Nobody goes back. Nobody I know goes back. So you're going to be living this way and you're going to see the fruits of living this way come to you all the time, every day, throughout your life. So if you want to know more about that, then click the click the button below and have a little read about that. If you just want to have a chat for an hour, the ignition call is an hour. So I can talk to you to see where you are in your life, where you're struggling, where you're stuck, where you're feeling overwhelmed, and how we can kind of just push you into in a nice, gentle, inspired way uh, to to create more for yourself. So whether you want to go ahead and book onto the 10-week coaching program, that Grow to Glow Ascension pathway, or you just wanted some ideas of where you are, where you're stuck, and what to do about it, then we can give you some nuggets as well. Okay, so you will get something, you will glean something from the hour, but don't sit there in the disrepair. Don't sit there in the stress. Don't sit there in the anxiety. Don't sit there in the worry. Life is not meant to do that. Okay, we have been brainwashed to think this way to keep us at a certain level, so that that the people that are in charge, the government, the people that so-called run the show, can stay on top and be in control of us. So it's time now to take your power back and do things for yourself. Do the things that you really want to do in your life that supports you, that supports your family, and supports the world. Because living in a state of contraction, you're not giving anything. You're in fact taking, because that energy is really low. So what you do, you're going to be stealing energy from anywhere that you can just to keep you surviving. Okay, so you're going to be living in a state of lack, a state of survival. So grabbing, pushing, shoving, and not really caring. And then you feel guilty because you know your spirit is saying you should care. And you start feeling guilty, which is more low vibration stuff. So learn more by giving me a booking a call with me, and let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation, because you deserve a life of ease. You deserve a life where you're healthy, you're vibrant, you feel good in yourself. You deserve a life where you can do the things that you want when you want to do them, because you're financially at peace in yourself. You're not worried about money. You deserve a life where you are grounded in yourself. You know who you are. You're connected 100% to the source from which you came, so that you're here for a reason and God can flow through the right purpose for you on this earthly plane. Okay, so I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for staying in touch, and stay light, stay bright. Sending you lots of hugs and lots of love. Talk soon. Bye.